Now, we look to the Prophet's life, we always have, for guidance. And we will continue to do so. But anyone who studies his life will understand that the objectives of Islam are very clear. Islam has its own mandates, it has its own ways. But there is a way through which Islam is projected and presented, and there is a way that Muslims need to behave. And all of a sudden, Islam, whose Prophet lived this kind of life, and he was not a coward either, by the way. He was not a coward. He was not one to be bullied and intimidated. He was just patient. But so strange that today, there are so many misconceptions, so many confusions about who this Prophet was and what he really taught the people and what message was it that he gave these people. Why are they so out of control? And what does the Qur'an really say? And what do Muslims really want? And why is it that there is so much killing and violence going on? They ask about jihad. That all Muslims are obliged to carry out jihad against the infidels, against the non-believers. And it is a religious duty and obligation. And people will say that if Islam is so peaceful, then why do you have all of these verses about jihad and about war? And there's a very sensible and logical answer to that. I mentioned to you in the beginning that Islam caters to all of the needs of humanity. It is a religion of practicality. It could not claim to be so while ignoring the need for safety and security. It is the basic right of every society and every individual of society that they be safe and protected from harm. And every nation has the right to protect its people. Since time immemorial, people have realized that there are many dangers threatening their existence, their property, their interests. And so since time immemorial, people prepare for that. We like to refer to Canada, for example, as a peaceful country. It doesn't mean they're not going to have an army. They're not going to have a military. They're not going to have an air force. Just because they claim to be a peaceful country. These are measures that are necessary for the defense and protection of a country, its assets and its interests, as well as its allies. And if Canada has to, it will deploy those assets, those military assets, for the sake of protecting itself, or for the sake of supporting an ally, and they do that all the time. There is no discussion about being peaceful or being warmongering. It is about principles. It is about what matters to you, what your values are, what you stand for, what your objectives are. And if you think that your objectives are justified, you will fight for those objectives. Every country that we know of has been the result of some sort of a war, including Canada, which has been the result of many, many wars. So you cannot separate your life or your mind from the realities of the world and go live in some sort of a fantasy world. These are realities. Islam addresses those realities. Jihad is the system of defense. It's your ministry of defense. That is not just there to announce war on people. It is there to protect the lives and the properties and the interests of its people. And like any ministry of defense, it is governed by laws, by systems, by processes, so that it cannot be abused. Imagine if the Canadian Armed Forces assets became a free-for-all. Anyone could get their hands on weapons and bombs and artillery and tanks and missiles and airplanes. And anyone could use them in whichever way they wanted. Imagine the disaster that would follow. So Islam gives the ethics of war. It gives you the instructions of war. It gives you the rules of combat and engagement. It's not shy from them. It's not a religion that's restricted to creed and worship. It's a system, it's a very broad and very expansive system. But there are laws, there are systems that govern these things.